If you're like me, one of the first things you'll want to do on your Linux box is to get remote SSH access to it. This is going to be especially the case if you happen to be sitting up in a server closet somewhere, sitting on a stool, or working on a little console. You'll want to get remote access to this system. So once you have your network set up, we'll go ahead and make sure that we can access this through SSH. So I'll go ahead and log in, and let's just review again the IP addresses that are on this system. So IP space ADDR, and now I can see here the IP address 192.168.32.10. Now I'm going to go back to my another system on this network where I have a terminal, and in here we're going to SSH 192.168.32.10. Alright, do we want to accept this host key? And yes. Now, we haven't changed anything. Well, actually I can't log in because it's logging in as Daniel. So let's actually tell it we want to log in as user. Alright, SSH, that same address as user, and the password is simply user. Alright, so now we have access to our gateway system via SSH, but it's not very secure because anyone that knows that password could log in, and especially if you're using this as an internet firewall or gateway router, this is going to be accessible potentially from the internet. We really don't want to trust user passwords as a way of securing this system on the internet. So let's instead copy our host key over to the system. Now I can just use copy and paste if I want to. So back on my client laptop, I'm going to cat the file .ssh/id_rsa.pub. Okay, there is my public key. So I can simply highlight that. Alright, copy that. Log back in. And now we're going to create a directory for SSH, cd into that directory, and nano authorized keys. Alright, now I'm simply going to paste that key in there, save, and quit. Now notice what happens when I exit. This time, when I log in, it's actually going to ask me for a passphrase for my own key on my laptop. So gotta be sure to enter that correctly. Alright, so now I can log in with key-based authentication, which is good. This is much more secure, but we also want to disable the insecure password-based authentication. So in order to do that, we're going to simply sudo get root access again, and we're going to simply edit the SSH config. So nano etc sshd config, and we're going to arrow down here a few lines down where we have permit password login. I will find it here in a second. Password authentication. Here we go. Notice that's commented out. We'll delete the hashtag. Now since password authentication is yes, I'm going to change that to no. Save and quit. Now, service, SSH, and restart. Okay. Now, I'm going to exit. I'm actually going to exit back to my laptop. If I go and try to log back in again, I'll just choose an invalid username. It says permission denied public key. If I had not disabled that password-based authentication, even with an invalid username, it would have asked for a password. But of course, I can still log in with my key. So there you have it. Now, suppose, again, I'm going to go ahead and go in as root, but suppose I wanted to have access from this server through SSH to another server. I've set up a number of servers like this to where you can get updates from one central location by using an account on another server through SSH. Well, in order to do any of this, we're going to have to actually generate a key on the server. So we'll SSH keygen. This is the same thing you would do on your laptop, although in this case, instead of protecting this public key or private key with a password, I'm just going to leave no password on this. And again, there we have the private key is generated. If I go into the SSH folder, you can see there's the public and private keys. And now I can cat that public key, and you can see that, and we could then copy that key and put that on another server, and then this server would have access to that server where we put that public key, the same process that we just did.